we've got Taylor, who is the QA lead at Atono, where he leads the quality team and oversees releases and customer support. He also says he loves finding interesting and creative ways to break things.
Yes.
Software, yeah. Thank you, Matt. My name is Taylor, and as you mentioned, I'm the QA at Atono, one of the QAs at Atono, and today we're talking about Ask Capy. And so this is Capy here. If you can't tell, he's a capybara, and he's here to help you better understand how your own product works. So it's also our first incorporation of AI into our application as a startup, so it's been a bit of a new frontier for us as well. We've been pretty mindful about trying to be diligent, or I guess deliberate, about the way that we're incorporating AI into our product, and so he's kind of the first implementation, and we're kind of seeing how it goes. So that's what we want to share with you guys today. A bit more about the company. So Atono is a platform for cross-functional software teams. It's a place where you can plan, build, and run your software. And so we combine things like issue tracking, feature flagging, planning with timelines, and feature engagements, all in one tool. So where do we get the idea for Ask Capy? Well, he was born out of the idea that, or out of the implementation of our global search, which you can see on this slide. So we were thinking about how we could extend the search to incorporate natural language and be more helpful for folks. So we asked ourselves, could we go from asking for a simple thing like a bug or a story to something more complex like, is this behavior intended? And so we wanted to build something that everybody on the team could use, from design to PMs to developers, so that they could quickly find answers about their own product using the unique data in their own Atono workspace. So what we ended up with was a chatbot powered by Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG. And by pairing an LLM with that retrieval layer, we were able to ask Capy complex questions about our own products and our customers' products using our own data and their own data. So that is the spiel. I'll take you over to Atono itself. And so this is an Atono workspace here for a fictional company called Virtual Vintage. And so I'd like you to imagine yourselves as new developers on this in this company. You just scored a hot new job here, and you need to get onboarded quickly. So you could go and scan through all these stories in the sprint to get yourself up to speed. But really, why don't we just ask Capy? So maybe we're interested more in our sign-up flow, since that seems to be the gateway for our users, first entry point for them. So we're going to ask a couple of questions about that flow. So let's see what Capy says. Do we validate sign-up emails? Let's ask him or her. I don't think we've decided yet. And on its face, it seems like a pretty simple yes-no question, but it's actually pretty complex. And so, yes, it looks like we do validate sign-up emails, and maybe I'll just make this a bit bigger. And it outlines all the ways that we do validate sign-up emails. And how have we gotten this answer? Well, we've gathered all these sources from different stories in Atono. And so I can open up these different references and reference those stories themselves as well. And so this is where it's gathered that information from that retrieval layer. And so this is where the RAG setup, the Retrieval Augmented Generation, really shines. It's able to stitch together information across different contexts, across different stories, and come together with a cohesive answer. So how does it respond to changing requirements? We would ask it next maybe about passwords. So let's see if it answers this. How are strong passwords enforced? So we'll give it a hot second to answer here. This one seems a bit more straightforward. Okay, and we see here that it does answer. And so what we wanted to show here was just that it can combine information from the previous chat context and incorporate new information in the form of this story here that it references. Sometimes, most of the time, I would say, it does include context, historical context, and so it would have pointed out that the password requirements have changed over time and outlined how they've changed. So. The last question that I want to ask it is just to ask it a simple question. So in our application, can two users have the same email address? So let me ask it that. This one's pretty straightforward. So based on the previous context, it's able to quickly and unambiguously answer the question. And so when there is data in your system that is pretty straightforward and cut and dry, Capy is pretty quick about answering in a direct way. So what we're watching for here is precision. It doesn't waffle, it doesn't hedge, just gives you correct grounded information. So that's a quick look at Ask Capy in action. As you can see, it can pull together context from across your product data in Atono to give you clear answers, whether that's a simple binary yes/no answer, or whether it's a more complex history of changes. So what does that mean for you and your teams? Well, it means less time hunting for information, faster onboarding for newer folks, and fewer interruptions for engineers because they can find answers quickly. So as I mentioned, this is kind of our first AR feature that we've implemented. Our startup has been going for about a year and a half now. And so some other things that we're looking at doing is incorporating duplicate detection for bug reports. So as a QA person, this is near and dear to my heart. But when you're writing a bug report, we'll hopefully be able to detect if it's a duplicate or not and tell you to abort. And also things like automatically sizing stories based on your team's previous sizing trends too. So more to come, but everything is pretty much just aimed towards writing better user stories and writing better bug reports as well. So thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll flash this screen here if you want this Lego set.
Taylor, we've got one question over here.
Yes.
Are you guys taking on Unblock in Vancouver, or?
Is that a conference or a?
No, Unblock is, well, what they are doing is like they're taking a company's information base and then throwing that all into an LLM. Yeah, so that's what they're doing, right?
Unblock.
Unblock, yeah. Does that sound very similar to what you're doing?
It does sound like one application of what we're doing. Yeah, that's good. I'll report back to my PM about that. But yeah,
Unblock is a Lower Mainland based, so yeah.
Yeah, no. I think, I mean, this isn't all that we do, obviously. So like, this isn't the be all and end all. Like, at our heart, we do more than just like unblocking, yeah. And so it's kind of more of an all-in-one platform. But this is kind of one application where it made sense for us to incorporate AI so that you could kind of ask questions about your own product.
Yeah, every month they send us.
But I'll check them out. Yeah.
I'm wondering if there's any integration of Capy with like modern development tools, like say Cursor, for example. Like if I could talk to Capy from Cursor and implement requirements.
That's a great question. Currently, no, but again, that sounds like a pretty good feature to have. Right now, like we haven't actually really unveiled Capy yet to the world officially, so this is kind of a sneak preview, but we are looking to kind of extend what Capy does, and so that would kind of be a natural extension, I think, to include it in those integrations. So again, I'll report back to my PM. Thanks.
Two questions, hey. First, how do you prevent data leaks, even with using RAG? How do you make sure that the data of, let's say, a person in the company does not leak? And secondly, how do you prevent bias? Like something that you ask from Capy, how do you prevent that it's not biasing on, okay, you have to do this task first?
Good question. So I think one thing is that we're very particular about what data we take and analyze for the RAG. And so basically we're only looking at things on public backlogs and nothing on private teams, so no private information is exposed. And then we're only looking at story content, so we're not looking at like anybody's personal information, or unless I guess somebody were to put in somebody's phone number in a story, which they shouldn't do. But I think we're just mindful of what data we're collecting. And I blanked on your second question.
Yeah, the bias. Like when you ask Capy about something, how do you make sure that it's not forcing you to do something that is less priority versus something that is more priority?
Like inference, I guess?
Yeah, so we have been experimenting with, first of all, different LLMs and also different prompts. So it's been kind of an experiment in prompt engineering too, to kind of coax Capy into, first of all, having its own personality. So just giving it its own persona. but then also directing it what not to do and what not to say. And so we've been, actually, I think I have a slide for this, but we had experimented with different prompts. Oh, you're not even seeing that, are you? So this is our initial prompt that we used on the left-hand side. So it was obviously a very short prompt. And then we found through testing that it gave us a lot of weird responses. And so we kind of further refined it here, and we're still kind of workshopping this. One nice thing is that if it does know the answer, we'll give you a haiku related to capybaras. So it's like a silver lining, I guess. Thanks.
Awesome. All right.
Thank you.